There are so many sports-related anime out there, all with unique and intriguing storylines that captivate our hearts and our minds, just like watching or participating in real sports activities does. I've been missing my basketball game, so I've been checking out a lot of sports anime as of late, and as such, I figured now is the perfect time to rattle off some of the best sports anime shows you should check out if you haven't already. The classic tabletop sport of ping pong is brought to life with Pong the Animation. Based on the manga by the same name, Pong the Animation is the story of two childhood friends who are both members of their high school table tennis team. One is brimming with confidence and wanting to be the very best ping pong player the world has ever seen, while the other is just lacking in motivation, but it's their mutual love of the sport that bonds them. The animation is really fluid and depicts the table tennis sport in a way that hasn't been seen in many animated shows before its time. Unsurprising though, as it's from the same animation studio that brought us Neon Genesis Evangelion, Tatsunoko Production. The uniquely stylized animation and the intense competitive nature of table tennis displayed in the series is sure to draw you in, and if you're more of a manga fan, well, I'd recommend checking out the Ping Pong manga as well, which Viz Media recently licensed for a North American release in 2020. Now I love me a good basketball anime, and Ahiru no Sora is one of the best. It's about a kid named Sora who wants to be the best he can be on his high school basketball team and makes a promise to his mom to do so, who herself is a professional b-ball player. Unfortunately for Sora though, he's not exactly gifted in the height department, and his high school's basketball team is a breeding ground for delinquents. It's honestly one of those tried and true underdog stories worth a watch. Slam Dunk is an undeniable manga classic and another basketball anime worth watching. It's about a tough guy who joins his high school basketball team to impress a girl he likes. Due to his natural athleticism, he dominates in the sport and soon sets himself up to be on track as one of Japan's greatest all-stars in the sport. There's a lot of depth to this particular anime, both on and off the court, which goes to illustrate why Slam Dunk is considered one of the best-selling manga series in history. Now, I personally discovered Ashitano Joe upon watching an episode of JoJo. Yes, everything traces right back to JoJo. It's a story about a delinquent named Joe, not JoJo, who wanders the slums of Tokyo, where a drunken boxing trainer takes note of Joe's fighting moves and thinks it can translate well in the squared ring. Ashitano Joe is a great underdog tale that is very reminiscent of the Rocky films. You see this young guy go from the slums to prison and finally to the bright lights of the boxing ring. Now, this late 60s, early 70s manga/anime series has had such an impact on the anime and manga industry that you see influences from it in other works, like Hajime no Ippo and the anime Megalobox, which was actually a special project created by first-time director Moriyama to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Ashitano Joe. Now, while the anime Ashitano Joe looks dated compared to current anime, it's a classic, and anime fans would do themselves a favor to check out the influential anime. This needs no intro, but I guess I will give one. Haikyuu is awesome! And maybe only a few of you might have noticed those 3 sentences were actually a structured haiku, in honor of Haikyuu, of course. Yeah. Now, it should come as no surprise that Haikyuu is one of the greatest sports anime and shōnen manga out there today. It's inspiring, motivating, and each and every time I watch an episode, it makes me want to go out and hit the volleyball court. But, I don't, because, I don't have any volley skills. Yeah. But that never stopped our protag Hinata Shoyo, who is your typical shonen main character in the sense that he's cheerful and very skilled at what he puts his mind to, although he might come off as unpolished to some of his adversaries. Haikyuu's animation style is one to be lauded and praised, as the over-exaggerated movements and occasional hyper-inked scenes really bring the sport to life and provide you with a sense of how it feels to be in the moment. On the court, playing the sport, you can feel the impact of the ball on the hand as it whooshes past a player. Haikyuu really brings the sport of volleyball to life, so if you've been sleeping on this particular anime or have it queued up on Netflix, now is the time to jump on the hype train for this particular anime if you're not already on board. Now, of course, there's some honorable mentions I definitely have to bring up that are worth checking out. Only reason they're not on this list officially is because, well, they're not actual sports, but have a competitive nature that's akin to your typical IRL sporting event. Netflix's Baki and Kengan Ashura. Now, I've raved about these two anime in previous videos on IGN. They're both really good. Now, I kind of consider them both to represent the sport of mixed martial arts, what you'd possibly see in the UFC. It's just as bloody as a UFC fight, only sometimes it's to the death and can be pretty damn gruesome. Also worth a mention is Keijo. Based on the sports manga by the same name, it's a fictional women-only sport where the goal is to knock your opponent off a floating platform using nothing but your boobs and butt. Unsurprisingly, it was very popular in its heyday, to the point where fans in Portugal made a proof of concept video for a defictionalized version of the sport. Now, the last video posted about it was back in 2018, so I doubt it'll take off. But you know what? That does speak to the impact of both the anime and manga on fans. Definitely worth checking out. Now, there's plenty more sports anime out there like Yuri on Ice and Free. Now, you knew I was gonna mention Free. That anime was a bop back in the day. But you know what? I can't sit here and list all of my favorites. You know what? What are some of your favorite sports-related anime? Are any of these on your list? And how many do you plan on checking out if you haven't already? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, as always, guys. And for more anime, keep watching IGN.
The biggest gaming event of the year is IGN's Summer of Gaming, and it's almost here. Tune in beginning Thursday, June 4th to see the latest and greatest in game reveals, news, trailers, next-gen coverage, and more. And on June 5th, we kick off our first ever IGN Expo, where you'll get first looks at world premiere game trailers, exclusive game demos, and interviews you won't find anywhere else. IGN's Summer of Gaming, only on IGN and IGN One on your Samsung TV Plus.